Beena, the day the stage won, the day the stage won, Beena.
When I was 9 years old, I met a monster. Not under my bed, not even in the night. He was on stage. You saw how I climbed up just now. Contest chair, fellow Toastmasters, and my dear guests. I still remember that day when I was neatly dressed, my hair in place, my uniform ironed, and my lines memorized. I was to give a speech. I was walking in and out of the wings, ready to go when my name was called. As soon as it was called, I went confidently on the stage and I forgot my lines. Completely blank my mind went. My throat parched and my hands became moist. Someone in the audience pointed and smiled. Someone else said, "Oh, she forgot." It was worse than if the entire audience had laughed at me. I felt embarrassed. I stumbled. I mentioned a few lines and I rushed out of that place, never to come back again. That day, the stage had won. Ever since then in school, whenever there was a chance to talk, I would say, no, I don't want to speak. I will never speak again. I should rush into the library or get out of class, any excuse to not go on stage. I am a bad speaker, I told myself. And you realize that if you keep repeating a line again and again, it becomes true. Fast forward to the end of my scholastic career. I was to receive a few prizes. So my teacher was very happy. I was thrilled, grateful. But she said, you'll have to say a few words. A few words? Those 3 words were like a hammer on my chest. And that 9-year-old monster stood up and tapped my ear and said, remember the fiasco when you were 9 years old? I said, shh. But this time I was invested. My teachers believed in me. My parents were in the audience. So I memorized my speech, every comma, every full stop. I used the furniture in my room, the television, the mirror, unsuspecting audience, so that I would have my speech committed to memory. And the day came. I was ready to go on the stage again. I walked ahead and faced the audience. Was I nervous? Of course I was nervous. Did I speak? Yes, I did. I completed the whole speech. Was I terrific? I thought I was. And the audience seemed to think so. And that day, the stage did not win, I was convinced. As I walked back to my seat, I realized one thing. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is actually showing up. Years later, I became a teacher. And the fun fact was that if you gave me a book in my hand, I could teach everyone for hours. If you kept a PPT by my side, I could explain the most complex of ideas. And if you gave me a script and a lectern, I could hide behind the lectern and carry on till the cows came home. But if you took them all away from me and I had to stand plain and simple in front of an audience, I was nervous. I could not speak. That monster came up again, alerting me. Why? Because I felt emotionally barefoot in front of an audience without the shield of the PPT and the script and the books. I could not speak off the cuff. I was afraid. And then Toastmasters happened. I was invited to a meeting. I went and attended it and I saw someone speaking without any paper, without anything, but they were speaking very polished, in a very polished manner. Some were nervous, some were afraid, but the people did not laugh. No one pointed a finger. And I realized that this was not a battleground, this was a training field where everyone took part, everyone was encouraged, and everyone was asked to speak regardless. When it was my turn to give my first speech, again my little fellow peeped up and red alert, he said. Remember the 9-year-old fiasco? I remembered, but I was prepared. I had my speech ready and I gave it. Everyone applauded and they said, wow, what a speech. And I was very, very happy. And I realized one thing, Toastmasters had helped me to normalize my fear. I could make my fear walk alongside me and with the energy, nervous energy, give my speeches. Of course, I had a lot of trouble still. I had to keep quieting my little fellow down. But as I grew in Toastmasters, I realized all this, and I realized that it's all right to make a mistake. It's all right to have a gap. And it's all right to be vulnerable and expose your vulnerability to the people. They like you all the more for it. Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen, are you at any stage on a stage waiting to climb? Do you have a dream? Do you have an idea that you want to show the world? Then don't wait. Do it now. Because remember, if you are afraid, if you are terrified, that is not courage. Courage is showing up anyway. Contest chair. Thank you.